Great job, Leo.
I know.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate you listening. Thanks again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we're going to go right to the phones. I'll stay with the phones. Nancy and Brewster, welcome.
Hi, Leo.
Hi, yes, Nancy.
Hi, yes. I enjoyed listening to you.
Thanks.
I just have a couple of comments, and it's mostly about the closures of schools. And I know the governor has ordered 3 weeks of the statewide school closures, and I know that some towns have already been closed for a week or two. And I'm just concerned, like the children, I have heard that the teachers are not given any assignments. So basically they're just home for a month, basically. And I was concerned that why haven't these teachers assigned these children? Now, some of them say, well, children don't have access to the internet. Well, I think that's a very poor excuse. I know some children who go to private schools, and they are to log on by 8 o'clock. They are being monitored by their teachers. They can take a recess break, a lunch break, but they'll be doing all their assignments online. I just don't get this. The teachers now have a free ride.
Well, you know, Nancy, I have to agree with you on that one. It was, and I guess we have to divide it into age groups. I'm sure the younger elementary school students are probably going to be given some kind of reading assignments or something just to keep them active.
I highly doubt it.
But,
I don't mean to interrupt you, Leo, but I would welcome some teachers to call in and say what the assignments are.
Well, we're going to put that out there, Nancy. And the other thing, though, that I wanted to say is, you know, I remember in Harwich, I mean, we voted an extensive school budget, and we are offering to, and again, I don't remember the actual age, but let's say it was middle school to early high school, where we actually supplied them with laptops, and they use these computers in the school, and they take them home with them throughout their tenure during the till they graduate in high school, you know. So
yeah, that is correct.
Yeah,
right.
So those guys should absolutely be able to navigate the web. I mean, what, you're really telling me that there's some people out there on Cape Cod that don't have access to the web? I mean, Nancy, you know what? I didn't have web access on my farm for over a year and a half, almost 2 years. And even Ed was calling me out here on the radio station of how archaic and backlogged I was. So I just can't believe that there are people out there today with young children that don't have access to the web. I'm
find that hard to believe as well. You can go on the parents' telephone. But I think it's very upsetting, and I know they don't have to make up the days. I don't see why they couldn't have been given biographies of books and say, read this book and do a report on it. I mean, I know I spoke to a neighbor and in high school, and he says, no, nothing. I said, nothing? I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is kind of ridiculous.
It's summer vacation. I said, it is not summer vacation.
And even
I'm
for
just
those
concerned. I mean,
yeah, I'm concerned with you, because even for the older high school kids, you know, the 11th, 12th, 10th, 11th, 12th graders, I mean, what a great assignment just to follow this world crisis that we're in and report on it. How is it affecting you? Are you know, I mean, you just think of all the things that these young kids could be writing about. You know, gee, we're hoarding toilet paper. Gee, we're, you know, we're helping our neighbor. I mean, it's endless. And it's a world situation, so they can report on all things. So you're right, Nancy.
absolutely.
We're going to put that call out there. Nancy and I both want to know from a school teacher what's going on. There you go. How's that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Leo.
All right. Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. So there you go. The callers out there from both Nancy and I, we want to know what's going on with the schools, and are you school teachers actually giving some home assignments to your kids while they're home for the next 3 weeks? Let's see here. It is 9:14. It is March 16th. It is a Monday, so I'm a little upbeat. Matt's still reeling from Friday, so I don't know. You gonna have a Monday or what, Matt? Yeah.
All the days blend together, Leo.
Yeah,
what is
we're
today
trying.
Again? Monday?
We're trying. We're here and we're trying. We are public servants, aren't we?
I guess so, if you want to call it that. Do I get paid like one? Who knows?
Yeah, you do, actually. Well, I don't know. You don't get the retirement benefits. You probably should. Anyhow, if you want to reach me by email, and I'm going to get to the emails in a minute, it's Leo, WXTK951@gmail.com. And if you want to call in with either some questions or you want to call in with some comments, please do. 508-775 9985, or you can reach us at our toll-free number, which is 888-WXTK-951. I'm doing my best to try to get off the coronavirus and get out there with some questions for callers to call in, or for some interesting topics to hear your positions on. So without any more wait, let's go right back to the phones. Jeff from Mashpee, welcome. You're on with Leo, filling in for the vacationing Ed.
Hey Leo, how are you?
I'm excellent, man. I'm in a petri dish in here, though. I don't like it. I'm going to tell you right up. I want to be back on the farm. I'd rather be rolling in horse manure than be covered by this foam board that just looks like it's, when I look at it, looks like it's breathing.
Yeah, I hear you. Sounds like it'd be much safer up there.
I'm going back to the farm real soon, brother.
There you go. My granddaughter's in 4th grade in Sandwich. Before they left, the teachers did a survey who has internet access and who doesn't. The ones that need laptops, they were going to supply them. My granddaughter happens to have access, and they were given their reading books, and they were giving their math, lesson book to come home, and each day they were allocated so much time to do their math and so much time to do their reading. So I know in Sandwich, it's not a free ride.
Well, there you go, Jeff. Thank you very much. That's a response to a question that another caller had, and I appreciate that. Jeff, before I let you go, you started out by saying they did a survey on how many students had internet access and how many didn't. Do you by any chance, Jeff, know what the results of that survey was for your Sandwich school students?
I'm not too sure. I guess they were just looking to see how many students would need to bring home their, like their laptops from their schoolroom. The Sandwich, they do have availability for each student has a laptop that stays in the school.
Right.
And those who did not have one at home were able to make arrangements and take theirs from the school to their house.
Great. All right, Jeff, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You answered our question for the town of Sandwich anyhow. We're going to keep that out there for other teachers or family members. Jeff, thanks again for joining us. I'm going to stay right on the phones. I'm going to go to Dave. Dave in Duxbury. How's Duxbury, Dave?
It's Deluxeberry today.
There you go.
How you doing, Leo?
I'm doing fabulous, man. Sometimes it's so good, I'm afraid to get up in the morning.
Well, you know that that fantastic could extend beyond your expected stay there in the studio if they slow down or possibly stop domestic flights for Ed.
I actually had a little conversation with Ed over the phone on the weekend, in touch with him, and he enlightened me to that, and we are now prepared that if that's the case, that Ed will probably be doing some shows remotely, live from Florida, which I thought is going to be great, and hopefully they can get all that together and we can do all that, because that'll be great. He'll be letting us know live from Florida exactly what's going on down there. And by the way, I also, Dave, I take care of a gentleman's horse who is, two horses, who is down in Florida. He usually stays until mid-April, and he told me he can't wait to get back. He said Florida is actually just, everything's closed. They can't do anything. They can't go to the racetrack. They can't go to the, he enjoys horse racing. He can't go to the horse racetrack, the restaurants, and he actually told me that they banning spring break. Now the students are there, but they're not allowing them to congregate on the beach or at hotels or restaurants. So he's actually heading back early. So I think Ed's driving himself down there, and I think he's going to do that remote. So, but who knows?
Hey, well, that's good to hear. I mean, we enjoy you and your broadcast as well. Maybe you guys can make a team effort out of it. I had one sort of question, and I'm wondering when people will start thinking about this. It's all well and good to shut things down. Like, you can sell your stock in the market, no problem, and all that kind of stuff. The question is, what's the criteria for opening everything again?
Well, I think that's why they keep saying 2 to 3 weeks. Hey, we're up against the clock for a quick break. Leo filling in for Ed. Those on the phone, hang on. I'll go right to you when I get back.
News Radio 95, WXTK.
I'm Chris Laton, founder of Cape Retirement Wealth Advisors. I don't offer just one product, and I have a fiduciary responsibility to every client. Cape Retirement Wealth Advisors specializes in retirement income, asset management, and protection. How much income will your portfolio safely produce? Let's find out together, and let's build you an income stream that lasts a lifetime. A successful retirement plan will reduce your concerns and maximize your income. Call me today directly at 508-659-5849. 508-659-5849. Maximize your retirement income, reduce your retirement concerns. Cape Retirement Wealth Advisors specializes in retirement income, asset management, and protection. Let's build you an income stream that lasts a lifetime. Call 508-659-5849 or visit caperetirementradio.com. That's caperetirementradio.com or call 508-659-5849.
Hey everybody, you know, Cape Cod Embroidery has been in business for 25 years. You know, but what you need to know is that Cape Cod Embroidery is so much more than embroidery. Screen printing, promotional products, tote bags, you name it. I've seen some of the stuff, shirts and hats and everything else. You know, they're terrific because they're going to help you whether you represent a business, a club, or an organization, and you're tired of doing the same old club order. Come on, call up Cape Cod Embroidery, get in touch. They'll set up an online store just for you. Okay, right through the end of April, too. Ed Lambert's special. It's a free setup on the left chest or hat front embroidery on orders of 36 pieces or more. Great people. David and Ingrid are over at Cape Cod Embroidery. Call them at 430-7870, or better yet, go online, capecodembroidery.net, and you'll see everything they've got going for them. Cape Cod Embroidery, right there on Queen Anne Road in Harwich.
So we got sent an incredible report from Honda Motors of America. What it does is it tracks people that lease vehicles from each Honda dealership. We came back with a 75% retention score, meaning that 3 out of every 4 people that leased a car from us 2 or 3 years ago came back and did it again. We've been trying harder to do things your way, and you know, sometimes you don't pay attention to results, and this caught us completely by surprise. We're letting you buy or lease your vehicle the way you want to do it, and that's a lot of what's going into these reports, so that's exciting, and we want to thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Hyannis Honda, West Main Street, Hyannis, 778-7878.
One customer bought a Ridgeline, and he was really pleased with the way things went. He went home and he talked so highly about the experience that his wife, she dragged him back to the showroom so she could lease a CRV. And so, I mean, that makes it really fun, and we see that all the time. You know, we know you have a lot of choices out there, and the fact that you come back again and again says a lot. You're not a customer, you're part of the family when you buy at Hyannis Honda.
Hyannis Honda.
Mark Woods for Ideal Floor and Decor, Cape Cod's only design center on Route 28 in Hyannis. We don't have salespeople, just experienced interior designers, and the service is totally free.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-226-1818. That's 800-226-1818. 800-226-1818. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
We're the station that's got people talking.
It almost seems common sense, but, you know, alas, common sense isn't so common these days.
News Radio 95.
Unbelievable.
WXTK.
Welcome back. Leo Kukunis filling in for the vacationing Ed. I got the phone boards are lit right up. I only got a few minutes before we come up against a 9:30 hard break, so if any of those callers want to hold on through the break, please do so. If not, call back and Matt will make sure we put you right through, or I will write your names down so I'll see it's you. But for now, I got to go to my buddy, my pal, John in Chatham.
Good morning, Leo. Good morning.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good. I was up at the crack of dawn feeding my bird friends.
Absolutely. It's wonderful out there. We got to take care of them too. They need it this time of year.
I wanted to talk about crows.
Crow.
Crows, yeah.
Oh, my subject, brother. Go ahead. I know a lot about crows.
Yeah, I was just reading about this young lady in Washington State that fed crows in her backyard, and the crows would actually bring her little trinkets as a sign of
absolutely
fellowship.
very common. I remember my grandmother telling me stories about when she was a kid in Greece, and they did that. They would feed crows, and the crows would bring them shiny objects like discarded small pieces of metal or anything else that they found, tops of tin cans. And interesting, that they're an extremely intelligent bird. I'm surprised that more people never got into them as pets.
Yeah.
But
I knew someone back in New York State. They taught a crow how to say "Let's go Mets."
Right. I mean, I've seen things on TV years ago, even when I was a kid. They take a crow and put it in a confined area with a bucket and have water in the bucket or a small dish, and the crow couldn't reach the water. And then they had a pile of stones there, and the crow would take the stones and put them in the bucket until the water level came up to a height that they were able to drink. I mean, that shows intelligence.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's all I have for today.
The only trouble with crows is when you attract them, and if you decide to do this, John, on your property, try to not make it a roost for them. They can be overwhelming. They really can take over your backyard, and you want to awake to a rooster in the morning is one thing, but when you're awaking to 40 or 50 crows screaming, you wish you hadn't done it. So
yeah, they're all up in Great Hills right now, so I hope they stay there.
There you go. Hey, John, I appreciate the call. Thank you very much.
Leo, goodbye.
Yep. All right, do we have time for one more? Let's see. Yeah, I guess we can take one more. We'll take Heather. She's been waiting a while. Heather, welcome. Leo filling in for Ed.
Good morning, Leo. I was calling in regards to my children and their assignments for the next few weeks.
Great. What town are you from, Heather?
I'm in Sandwich, but my children do not go to Sandwich.
In times where markets are stressed, it's kind of twofold. Number one, there are a lot of institutional investors that need to sell something in order to meet cash requirements. So for example, if I am the California State Pension Fund, or if I'm a pension fund for GE employees, I know that I have payments that I have to make in March, or in April to my employees, or to my pensioners. And so in that case, do I sell my stocks that are down 25%? Probably not, because it's not really good. It's not really good policy for a pension to be doing those kinds of things. So what do pensions do? Hey, if they have any bonds that have held up well, yeah, you see a little bit of a sell-off on maybe the corporate side or on the muni side. So you see a little bit of that happening. Maybe you have some gold, so maybe they're selling something along those lines. You also end up with margin calls where it's, okay, great, I need to sell something. Again, I don't want to sell my stocks at a personal level, so I'm going to sell my gold, I'm going to sell my bonds, I'm going to sell everything that's performed decently well. But in turn, that then causes a sell-off in those assets.
We saw the same thing. I mean, you remember during the Great Recession. It'll be interesting to see what the mutual funds end up doing this year. But remember back in 08, the market was down. What did the calendar year finish for the markets in 08?
35-ish in that ballpark.
And all the mutual funds are kicking out capital gains.
Yep.
Because they're trying to hold on to what they know are still their best performing asset classes, and so that means oftentimes that you're selling stuff at a gain here, which can be really frustrating if you own a mutual fund and the market's down by let's say this happens again this year where the market finishes down, and you have a mutual fund kicking out capital gains. That can be really frustrating. Chuck, I want to go back, though. I know some people have heard these circuit breakers, understand how they all operate. I want to go back to this term circuit breaker. I want to define it for the markets today. I want to define it also for the pre-market overnight markets and how it operates there.
Yeah, two separate sets. On the overnight futures market, you have what's called a circuit breaker that kicks in when those markets get down 5%. And circuit breaker,
up 5%, right?
Or up 5%. Listen.
Let's be optimistic here.
So
it did happen once last night.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. It doesn't matter. So in terms of what those do, the goal there is to prevent too much volatility in a short period of time and prevent what are called bid-ask spreads from effectively blowing out because market makers don't know how to price security. So the thought is, okay, in this case, on the ones that go into place during the day, the first one is hit at 7%. And the reason why you have that there is, okay, the market pauses for 15 minutes. The market says, look, we're not trading anything for 15 minutes. The idea being that your market makers, the brokers that are actually executing these trades and saying, here's what we feel comfortable buying and selling at, they have a little bit of time to talk to people, do a little bit of inventory checking, and say, okay, what prices do we feel comfortable at, as opposed to the case where if you see prices just accelerating downward, market makers might say, well, look, if this thing is still going to keep falling, we might we'll only buy at even lower prices, and so you end up with this cycle there that kicks in. So the circuit breakers are there pretty much to prevent or to give market makers a chance to see what's going on and kind of stabilize things at those levels. And in the short term, they kind of work that way. Each of the last 3 days, we've had these negative movement circuit breakers kick in. On Monday, we fell and we kind of hung out around 7% down for a while. Thursday, same thing, but then we had kind of that big puke heading into the close where we ended up down about 10%. And today, to be honest, we just opened down so quickly.
Well, we opened down. I mean,
like the first trades were executed down beyond the circuit breakers, and now we're kind of holding in that level. So we'll see if we end up with another puke at the end of the day, or if we kind of just hold this level here. But
or who knows? Honestly, honest to God, who knows?
Oh, no one does, and that's why I'm saying we'll see what happens. We don't really know how this is all going to actually play out here. So
in the short term.
No, in the long term, none of us have any idea how this is going to play out for the next year or two.
Yeah, but that's not the long term.
No, but when you're talking about this market, none of us have any idea. And I'll be honest, even when you look at stocks in this market, the idea that the rules are going to be the same a year or two from now as they are today, I think is a dangerous assumption to have in either direction, either positively or negatively. If you look at 2008, this is a great example because I was talking to a buddy of mine over the weekend who was saying, look, I'm not a market timer. I believe in, kind of set it and forget it. But what do you think about just sitting this thing out for like 3 to 6 months? And I said to them, well, look, if you're not really, convinced that you want to be trading, then why would this change your mind in anything? And he said, well, it just feels
where we are right now. You know what I would really like to see more than anything else, and granted you can't do it right now because you can't have people congregating in large groups, but an infrastructure bill, I mean, this is literally when we talk about the best possible times where you can pass something like this to have that spending coming out, once we get through the health crisis here. I know you said, hey, just send everybody checks. You're right, that's the easiest thing to do, but we've got a few months now before you could even get the infrastructure projects going here. I would love to see something agreed upon to say, hey, we are going to pour a few, tens of billions of dollars into our U.S. infrastructure.
More, if you're talking what you're really going to need, 2 to 3 trillion.
Yeah.
When we talk about the scale of these things, let's be honest. Any stimulus that's going to be needed here is going to be in the trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
If we're sitting here talking about, hey, we're going to, authorize 20 billion. Guys, we're missing the boat.
Yeah, it's not
this is the whole U.S. economy that's going to have to effectively not shut down. It's not going to shut down completely, but this is not going to be a 2-week thing. This is not going to be a 3-week thing. We're going to be working from home in large numbers for 2 to 3 months. And that's what we need to be preparing for. And we've seen this, we've seen how this has played out in China. We're seeing how it's playing out in Europe right now. And the only way to beat this thing is to literally do nothing. You guys ever watch War Games? You guys never watched War Games?
Who's that?
Matthew Brock. You guys never watched War Games?
Yeah. Who's the other guy that's in there?
Anyways, so when we talk about war games, the key thing at the end, they're trying to stave off nuclear holocaust and everything, and the quote is, the only way to win is to not play. Okay, that's what you have to do here. The only way to beat this thing is to do nothing, and by nothing I mean literally sit your butt at home, watch a whole bunch of Netflix, play some board games, do some gardening, don't go out and talk to anyone. And that's what we're going to have to deal with from a policy perspective, and we're not really built to do that. All of our economic policy for the last 100 years has been about doing more and more and more. Consume. We got to turn it around.
We don't have time to talk about this, but I do want to kind of add it to our list of subjects I want to go over. I really want to tackle how differently every country is handling this from a health perspective, because there is no single unified worldwide approach right now. And I think it's important that people realize that our approach in the United States is completely different from Italy's, which is completely different from South Korea's, which
From
is
the
also
UK, from Japan, from China.
UK. China and Italy are pretty close in my view in terms of how they're handling this. But France compared to us and compared to South Korea are all we're all over the place.
Yes.
And nobody knows what the right approach is.
Yeah, it's one of the most challenging things, and one of the really interesting things to watch in this is that people have speculated over the last decade, hey, what's going to happen when we do have that next crisis? How are we going to work together internationally in order to make sure that we manage it? And it's going to get put to the test here. It's being put to the test here as we speak. Folks, if you have questions about anything that's going on in markets or anywhere else, you can text us at 63566. We're going to be taking your texts. We're happy to answer them. So if you want to know, hey, what's going on with this in markets, what's going on with that, what should I be doing? Text us at 63566. We're happy to answer your texts again. We got plenty of time here today, so text us at 63566. Let us know your questions. Quick break here. When we come back, we've got Wall Street Watch, and then we will tackle the question of what are different countries doing.
Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter @TFE Show. Breaking business news is always first, right here on the Financial Exchange Radio Network. WXTK Local News.
I'm Mike Patrick with this WXTK News Update. Governor Baker ordering new restrictions designed to help stop the spread of coronavirus. All restaurants and bars in Massachusetts must end on-premises consumption beginning tomorrow. All public schools in the state ordered to close at least through April 6th. Baker also banning all gatherings of 25 people or more in an effort to slow the spread. Harwich Fire Department issues a statement about a recent social media post talking about a potential case. Fire Department says the post that says a firefighter in the town has been quarantined for COVID-19 is not at risk. Testing indicated the firefighter has the flu and is at home recovering but not under quarantine. Fire Department says there is a strong potential for inaccurate information to be shared in the coming weeks. They're asking people to verify information they receive on COVID-19. Sandwiches Town meeting scheduled for March 23rd moved to April 13th due to coronavirus concerns. Sandwich the second town to postpone. Tisbury postponed its March 31st meeting on Friday as well. I'm Mike Patrick, News Radio 95 WXTK.
This report is sponsored by Discover. We treat you like you treat you.
Now, your look at NBC 10 Boston's first alert forecast for Cape Cod and the islands.
I'm NBC 10 Boston meteorologist Matt Noyes with your first alert forecast here on WXTK. Today is chilly. I mean, this is like a winter redux. The sunshine battling with ocean effect clouds drifting in off the water. High temperatures only in the upper 30s with a breeze. It feels a little cooler than that. Overnight tonight, mostly cloudy, lows in the 30s. And Tuesday, sprinkles and light showers. Highs do squeeze near 50. Wednesday should be a good day. Maybe some more showers again by Thursday.
Coming up, a look at Cape Cod traffic on News Radio 95 WXTK.
Did you know Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year? Plus, Discover is accepted at over 95% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2019 Nielsen report limitations apply.
At Trinity Christian Academy, it's a privilege to stand for our flag and salute those who serve. In her award-winning essay, one of our students wrote,
"Our veterans are America's greatest heroes. Veterans embrace a life purpose that is not usually their own purpose in life. They believe in a bigger purpose of life by fighting to give everyone the right to live freely and safe. Most of the time they leave their plans and dreams behind to give others a hope in the future. Veterans are an example of love just like Jesus. They give their lives to protect those who they don't even know to give them a better future."
Trinity is pleased to offer a one-time special discount to active duty military, fire, and police officers. Learn more about Trinity's pre-K through 12th grade program. Join us for a Trinity Tuesday tour any Tuesday at 10 a.m. Call us today about our special discount for active duty military, fire, and police officers, or visit us at trinitychristiancapecod.org.
This report is sponsored by Bob Evans Dinner Signs. Now, Cape Cod traffic on News Radio 95 WXTK.
It's been a trouble-free ride all morning over the Bourne and Sagamore bridges. There are no delays around the Bourne or Otis rotaries, and no issues along Route 28, 6A, the Mid-Cape Highway, or Canal Roads. I'm Gina Genesis. Have a safe commute.
Make mealtime easy and delicious with Bob Evans side dishes, like mashed potatoes and mac and cheese. They're made with real milk, butter, cheese, and potatoes, and are ready in the microwave in 6 minutes. Try Bob Evans sides from your grocery store. It'll be love at first bite.
Alright, listen up, people. Someone in this apartment is using too much internet.
Amy, you don't live here.
Whoa, let's not make this personal. Have you tried gig speed internet from Xfinity?
I've heard about that. Can't you connect like a ton of devices?
That's correct, sir. So we can stream, game, face text, or whatever we want to do on all our devices at once.
We?
Oh, you'll barely notice me. Unrelated, does anyone have extra closet space?
Power your home with turbocharged gig speed internet from Xfinity. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Switch to Xfinity Internet TV and voice for $79.99 a month for 2 years with a 2-year agreement. And get a $100 prepaid card. Plus, get a free upgrade to up to 1 gigabit per second for a year. That's a savings of $360. Go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Ends 3/22/20. Restrictions apply. New pick triple play customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees, including BTV and RSN fees extra and subject to change. After term of speed promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
News Radio 95 WXTK. Watch a look at the market's performance so far today. Now, back to Barry and Chuck, right here on the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
Wall Street Watch brought to you by Leader Bank. And we're going to get right into it with Emma at the moment. So let's start first, Emma. Emma David from the Armstrong Advisory Group joins us. Let's start with Altria. They're down about 3.5%, so way less than the overall market.
They are, yeah. They were upgraded at Morgan Stanley, so they are outperforming the overall market. On a couple of factors. One, lower oil prices should help their supply chain. And then also, there has been slowed e-cigarette growth, which helps a company like Altria, who divested of e-cigarettes end of last year, given out their regulatory concerns. The other thing that's going on is Altria boasts almost 9% dividend, and people are going to be fishing for yield-paying companies at this point with the market down as it is. So the stock is down about 3% for the day, certainly outperforming the peers.
Let's talk about Berkshire. They are down about 8% today, so close to in line. But some news regarding their overall corporate structure, I believe.
Yeah, they've got a new member on their board. It is the former CEO of American Express, who is pensionable. This came as follow-up to the prior news that Bill Gates would be stepping down, not only at Berkshire, but also at Microsoft's focus on the Gates Foundation. This is another company that is it's not outperforming the market today, but it is outperforming the financial sector, which is down closer to 13% for the day. And that's really because they're sitting on a boatload of cash right now, $125 billion in cash. So we're just kind of watching Warren Buffett and seeing what he will be buying at these distressed values and when exactly that will be.
Outstanding. Emma, appreciate the time today, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, Chuck.
That is Emma David from the Armstrong Advisory Group, and that's Wall Street Watch presented by Leader Bank. Precious metals could be a smart investment, and gold and silver bullion coins are available now. So call Leader Bank at 877-691-7900. Member FDIC,
And that is, again, as I just said 20 seconds ago, Wall Street Watch. So, Yahoo. Well, actually, no, not.
Not great.
Mike, one of the things prior to the last break, you mentioned you wanted to kind of run down the list of what different countries are doing. So why don't we do this kind of lightning round style, just because we got a lot of countries to get through. There's north of 200 in the world, and I'd like to cover maybe 10 to 15 of the bigger ones.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. So I mean, first things first. I guess there's a lot of theories out there about weather and how this is impacting different countries based on that. And I'd say we probably still don't know quite enough to definitively say whether this is impacting colder climates more than it's impacting warmer climates. But generally speaking, the focus seems to be on this parallel. That's where we in New England here live, the UK, Seattle, Washington, and less so on the Floridas, Caribbean, or Southern Hemisphere at the moment.
I'd caution people in those statistics just because when you look at the areas that are closest to the equator, they are often the areas that have the weakest health systems and potential for testing. So, as an example, Thailand has seen very few reported cases of COVID-19. They've seen a massive uptick in, quote, viral pneumonia.
I would say the only example that I would keep a close eye on, or examples, would be Australia and New Zealand, to see what numbers we see produced out of there. This is the case with the flu. The flu, generally speaking, cannot transmit very easily in warmer, humid weather, but that doesn't mean that that's the case with the coronavirus. So let's start with China.
Yep.
We all know how they react to this. They lock it down, albeit way too late.
Delivery system as far as getting goods out to individuals and families rapidly. Part of that is because it's a relatively densely populated country.
Yeah.
The bulk of the population right around Seoul. It's it's very easy for people and goods to kind of get where they need to go.
But not a lockdown.
No,
what I'd argue is
voluntarily
voluntarily lock down if you want to get tested. But we're not going to force you to stay in one place, which is definitely different from the China approach. But it also seems relatively successful.
You've got, just sticking with Asia before we get to the rest of the world, you've got Japan, who I think is still in the denial phase. They, by and large, are not testing large numbers of people. They obviously have the Olympics that are supposed to be coming up this year, and I think they're doing everything to try to maintain the appearances that those are going to be happening. But Japan, from talking to people who are relatively up on the situation, I'll leave it at that, they are by and large trying to pretend that this is not happening and not really testing their population in any meaningful way, and kind of crossing their fingers and hoping that this thing blows over.
Again, a pretty old population in Japan compared to a lot of other developed countries.
Italy, probably the next country that we come to as we move to Europe. Obviously, it's the most heavily threatened at this point in Europe. Italy started with large-scale event closures back in late February. You remember, I think it was February 25th or 26th, the Venice Carnival shut down. And, we said at the time, hey, this is a big deal.
let's go to the UK. Yeah. The UK approach is fascinating to me. So the theory, if you go listen to, I was actually listening to an interview from late last week with, I think, their National Director of Sciences and the going to be a virus that repeats itself directly. And so the concern is that if they just say, okay, everybody quarantine, then they will extend the amount of time that it takes for everyone to get infected. But what they're worried about is that it will extend it all the way to next winter, in which case you will not have a vaccine at that point and still have a number, even a larger number of deaths because they can't handle this. So instead, their approach is basically, we're going to try and build up herd immunity, meaning we are going to try and make it so the fact that we recognize people are going to catch this virus, we recognize that most people won't die from it, and therefore, if enough people are immune to it, then it won't spread quite as quickly. And that seems to be a tremendous bet on...
It's a gutsy call, no one else is doing it.
It's a tremendous call, a bet on their ability for the healthcare system to actually handle this. They are not testing people, by and large. It's very difficult to get a test in the UK. I would probably say harder to get a test in the UK than it is here in the United States.
Yeah.
People are self-quarantining. You know, if you're over a certain age and you certainly if you catch a cough, then they're not telling you to go into the hospital and get checked at that point. They're just saying self-quarantine for 14 days. And yeah, it's gutsy. I don't know really what to make of it, and their citizens, you know, you're starting to get citizens quite concerned that they are the only country going that route.
We're going to know in 2 to 3 weeks whether or not it's working. Like this is something where there's a finite timeline. If it works, we're going to know in 2 to 3 weeks. If it doesn't, the UK health system is going to be so overwhelmed that they are not going to be able to treat the vast majority of these patients. We then come to the United States. Okay, right? Yeah. Do you have anyone else?
No, I don't have anybody else.
I mean, you got like Germany and Spain are kind of doing the same thing. They're on the Italy path at this point. You know, it's everyone in Europe is kind of heading down that Italian path, aside from the UK. The UK is saying, we'll be fine.
Which is the most British way of dealing with something like this. It's like, yeah, a lot of people are going to die. Suck it up. Like, it's okay.
Did either of you see the video? It was of like maybe a 10 or 11-year-old Canadian kid who had come to the U.S. on vacation. Like all the stuff was canceled, obviously, so he couldn't do anything.
Sure.
And he had like the most Canadian response ever because they were interviewing him on the news. Like, hey, you came all the way from Canada. What's your take on your vacation? And he pretty much just kind of shrugged and said, well, it's not quite what we expected, but I guess...
The buildings are awfully pretty, though.
I guess in the broad scheme of things, like, we'll all be fine. Like, we'll just go home and, maybe hang out and, maybe come back at a better time when not everyone's so sick. And then he just takes, like, a giant glug of this coffee, just in, like, the most, like, screw all you, I'm just gonna, like, head home. Like, it was so Canadian is the best way that I can describe it.
Really sorry things aren't going so well here.
Yeah, I'm trying to just stay, optimistic and
That's more Scottish.
That was a little Scottish, yeah. It all blurs together at one point or another. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we've already talked a little bit about what's going on in the U.S. here. I do want to talk about what the Bank of Japan is doing, and also then I want to get into what individual businesses are doing, specifically starting with the airlines, because the cuts that are coming there are significant. So let's do that when we come back.
It's the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
The stock market has seen an unprecedented free fall recently and could be heading towards more volatility given the increasing fear about the coronavirus. This is Chuck Todd from the Armstrong Advisor. While a huge drop in such a short amount of time can be scary, the down market could provide some opportunity. Effective immediately, we are opening our office for evening hours until 8 p.m. and on Saturdays from 9 to 5 if you'd like to schedule a free consultation to review your portfolio and evaluate your financial strategy. Call us right now at 800-393-4001. That's 800-393-4001 or request your appointment on our website at armstrongadvisory.com. The markets will likely continue to be volatile, so don't delay if you need information that can help you make the right decisions to protect your assets. Call us today at 800-393-4001 and book your appointment right away.
Securities offered through Securities America Incorporated. Member FINRA SIPC. Any advisory services offered through Securities America Advisors Incorporated. Charles Hahn, representative. Armstrong Advisory Group and the Securities America companies are unaffiliated.
Hi, Mark Woods here from Ideal Floor & Decor, Cape Cod's only design center on Route 28 in Hyannis with my Ideal Promise. Walk on it for 60 days, and if you don't like it, we'll replace it at no charge.
When it comes to using data, everyone is different, which is why Xfinity Mobile created a different kind of wireless network. One that's designed to save you money by letting you design your own data, giving you more choice and control compared to other top wireless carriers. Now, you can choose unlimited, shared data, or mixed lines of each and switch any line, anytime. No one else lets you do that, or automatically connects you to millions of secure Wi-Fi hotspots and the best LTE everywhere else. So no matter where you are, we've got you covered. All while saving up to $400 a year on your wireless bill. Xfinity Mobile. It's wireless reimagined. Call, visit a store, or go to xfinitymobile.com today. Simple, easy, awesome. Restricted supply, not available in all areas. Requires residential post-pay Xfinity Internet. Actual savings vary and for Xfinity Mobile broadband disclosures, visit www.xfinity.com/mobile.
Would you rather control your own taxation in retirement or leave it up to the government? I know my answer.
Hi, this is Brian Drake from Drake Risk Management, a financial planning company in Orleans and Hyannis.
I'm excited to let you in a little known secret of how you can legally avoid writing a check to the IRS after withdrawing money from your regular. Anything left over would go to your beneficiaries, also tax-free. 50/50, at 508-345-5050, for free, no obligation.
Hey, other criminals don't get two forms for my friend's company.
Man, scammers impersonate CEOs and also launch attacks from compromised accounts.
What if they target us?
Don't worry, we have Barracuda Total Email Protection.